Hello everyone, it's Tess and today is a recap of day one. Today was the first day of the opening of the challenge for the month of April. So I'll give it a couple minutes and see if we get some people on. I'm not seeing anybody quite yet. I'll actually sign on my computer too, just to see if we're starting to get people on. Not yet. Hi, Miss Jane. What time is it over there in Australia, Miss Jane? Good afternoon. So, Miss Jane, did you start day one over again today? I think I see Glenn and I think I see Jane. My group is here to support. And Miss Kate. Hello, everybody. I'm going to borrow a phrase that Ashley Kirby posted on the Transforming Your Life Challenge today that she borrowed from Doc V. So you'll see how this all comes together. We all work together. Is today your day one, or are you still waiting for one day? And I thought, I forgot about that. And I know Doc V has said that. And Ashley kind of reminded us today in the Transforming Your Life group. And I think that's a great thing to think about. Today was day one of the challenge. Even if you haven't had a chance to get your, even if you haven't had a chance to read the homework from last night or the live, you still have a chance to catch up. I would definitely do it if you haven't done it yet. This challenge has changed my life in many, many ways, and I know I went through a lot of it yesterday. I'll just do quickly for those who don't know me that may be joining on for the first time tonight. I lost over 100 pounds about 20 years ago, gained it all back plus some, had bariatric surgery. We got into COVID and I was afraid of gaining. I got scared. I was afraid of gaining. One of my friends reached out from another group that I was in and said, I think we need something different. And I think this guy might be able to provide it. So that's when I jumped on board with Doc V's group. And it has been the best gift that I've given myself. And now today, he's opening it up for all of you. For all of you. Oh, I forgot to say, during COVID, I've lost 37 pounds. So it's been helpful. This tools learned through Doc V have been amazingly helpful. Now, he's trying to give us all an opportunity to learn about the challenge through this opening. So I'm kind of watching for people's comments and I want to get an idea of what do people take away from today. Do you have any comments, any takeaways? What are your thoughts after day one of the challenge? I remember this video from before because I have watched this before. And I think it even goes back to that same thing. The one thing that's really resonates with me was when he talked about people taking their greatest gifts to the graveyard. And we don't want that for anybody. We all want to start making those amazing changes. So like I said a minute ago, I'm going to get my main computer up so I can, in case all of the comments aren't showing up on my cell phone. Oh, I think there I am. Twice at one. Oh no, that's my other one. I have my face popping up in too many places. It's scary. Okay, there it is. All right. Day 212 for Kate. Awesome, Kate. 212 days. That is amazing. I'm not seeing a lot of comments yet. Again, if you guys want to share your takeaways for day one, that would be awesome. Especially our newbies, the new ones that are just experiencing Doc V for the first time. Today's message, all of his messages are great. Today's message was awesome. We listened to Les Brown, and I think what's really important in this is to recognize that we really do have to take action. And I love that saying that I mentioned a couple minutes ago. If you haven't already started on your transformation journey, make this your day one. Don't wait for one day because too many things get in the way. Just take some step today and make today day one of transforming your life. Day one of making your life different than you ever thought it could be. Oh, 37 days. Look at that, Anissa. Awesome. So you're still fairly new. You started last month with this challenge, I bet. Good for you. You know, what are some of your takeaways? What have you gotten in the past month? What are your biggest ahas? I do want to kind of give you guys a chance to talk and to share too, and I'll continue to talk because we know I may have thought I had a problem talking, but I guess I don't. But the idea that we just have to take a step today. I love the story that Les Brown talked about how he became the disc jockey. I think that's what it is too. I talked yesterday about having a fear of taking chances, and I've missed out on a lot of opportunities in life. And what a smart man he was, that even at a young age, he recognized that when there was an opportunity, you had to take it. You can't, too long I've sat back and watched. I was the person that said one day, and the faster you react, the faster you can see the results and the rewards. It's all about mental health. I think I was one. Yes. Yeah, Kate. The mental health is the part that through this journey, and I knew it before I had surgery. Even in my case, I knew it before surgery. When I had my psych evaluation, when I asked for a weekly meeting and the psychologist told me I didn't need it, I was disappointed. And I was disappointed because I knew I still had something to work on and I didn't know where to find it. So I went back to my primary care doctor. You know, and this will tell you why this challenge is so important. I pre-surgical knew that I had issues that I had to overcome. I tried when I went to my pre-psychological exam before surgery. I asked her if I should meet with her weekly. She said no, that I was totally fine to move forward. I didn't need weekly appointments. I went back to my primary care doctor and I said, I'm really concerned that I haven't been able to master the things I need to master to be ready for this journey. We sat down, we went through the phone book. We couldn't find anything that would be in support of somebody that was facing the journey that I had. So at that time, I started just joining groups everywhere. Everywhere through the internet, I joined every group I could because I wanted support. Oh, my 37-pound weight loss. I thought you were telling me it was your day 37. Yes. For me, this challenge, and I know I said this yesterday, I was struggling for 2 years to find out how to shift. And I think that's probably the greatest gift this journey's given me too, is that as a person that's a creature of habit, an accounting person has to be a creature of habit, because if you do something wrong in somebody's books, the best gift you can give the person that's going to help you fix it is that you're consistently repetitive, because you can fix a mistake if you know how it was consistently approached. But if you go at it willy-nilly each different month, then you've got bigger problem to fix. So I was one of those people that I've loosened up a lot this past year, but I was rigid about what I thought the journey should look like. And because I had a 115-pound loss in the first year, I was afraid to change my eating habits from that point. I was afraid that I would break the machine if I changed. But 3 years down the road, when I hit year 3 and COVID was hitting, I started to gain a couple of pounds. Everybody in all the groups started gaining, and that's when I got scared and went to Doc V. And the cool thing is that he's in this past year helped me and the entire tribe to recognize that we have to be ready to make changes and recognize, and there is a good, absolute, wonderful way to eat. And I believe that in an ideal world, I want to have about a 6-hour window at any day that I eat. I don't want to be eating any more than that 6-hour window, and I want to not be eating the rest of the time. I want to always be fueling with green smoothies, big salads, or as the doc calls them, big butt salads, but he doesn't say butt, and then a normal meal. That's a perfect way to eat, and I think you feel very strong. I think you feel very healthy. I think your mind is clearer. I think your skin is clearer. Your body operates more efficiently. But too often, we fall into a pattern of something that worked, and there are things we can tweak. And unless we have some kind of an accountability, which we have built into the Dr. V challenge, if you don't have accountability and the doc guiding you every day, you miss opportunities to improve. Because if this journey if you're going to be the one that reaches your potential before the graveyard, you've got to start making changes now. You don't want to wait for tomorrow. It starts today. And even don't set the goal so high that you give up after a day. Just do something towards your goal. And I'm going to tell you that I follow a lot of groups. I follow a lot of self-improvement. It was pointed out to me this week in group that I'm a program accumulator. I have never given up on myself in my entire life. I accumulated hundreds of programs. Jane Ross, I didn't know you were a beta founder. She's part of my group, and I just learned something new about her tonight. I needed to change, and this accountability that we have within the tribe, because we have accountability partners, and it gives you a chance to kind of step back and reevaluate. I mean, even something as simple as I gave up artificial sweeteners in pop. I knew pop was bad for me. I knew artificial sweeteners were bad for me. I still kept drinking the prepared protein shakes 3 years after surgery, and in some cases 2 a day. I didn't recognize the need to let that go because there were better ways with natural foods that I could fuel my body. I was still living in a processed world with artificial sweeteners, and I didn't even recognize it. So I would probably still be doing that if it hadn't been for this challenge. And it just prior to coming on board with Doc V and him kind of explaining to me about the protein shakes, I had bought 12 cases of them because they had gone on sale pre-COVID. I would only buy them a couple times a year when they went on sale, and I had 12 cases of them, but I went and gave them to a local homeless shelter because I kind of figured, and we talked in group, it would be even something they could have in their pocket if they were wandering somewhere. And although it had some processing in it, at least it was some kind of nutrition that they could have, and I needed to move to the next level, so it could be a win-win. But I will watch, the mental attitude. Kate Aarons, yes, I was, Jane's talking to Kate. The mental part, every other part of this journey, the mental part is what I truly believe gives you the strength to be excited about and encouraged about making the changes that get you long term. I think the reason I struggled, I was afraid, but for 2 years, I didn't want to let go of what I did immediately after surgery. I didn't recognize the need. I didn't recognize that my body was healing. You figure if you go through a major surgery like that, for 6 months, your body's healing. That's when the massive parts of the weight loss occur, and then you start to increase your calories a little bit, because I think basically you start about 850 and you're up to about 1200 within that first year. But I was so obsessed with staying on what had got me the 115 pounds lost. I didn't recognize the need, and I didn't trust that I needed to make a change. And this group and Doc V helped me to see it. And I think that's why you need a group like this, because those issues that your doctor, your primary, even if you have an amazing medical team, those issues aren't going to be addressed in the limited window that they can see you in their office, because they're focused on making sure you get your blood work, that your counts are good, that, they've got a whole checklist. And I worked at the home office, system office of a risk management department of a healthcare system. They've got their whole list of things they got to go through. And the mental health side of it, the shifting of thoughts isn't really on those checklists, not that I ever saw. And this is unique. I did not find it. I sat with my primary care doctor in her office, looking through phones, looking through computers, because they're all computerized now too, and we couldn't find anything that we thought could help me with the mind part of this journey. And even back then, back 5 years ago, she agreed with me that that would be a great tool for me to find, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find somebody who wanted to help me to master, because I was afraid back then that I wouldn't be able to quiet the mind so that I could focus on the journey. And that is part of Doc V's fundamentals in this group. And I'm still watching for comments. 99% mental health well-being. And yeah, Kate Aarons, she's telling us, and she's very educated in the area of mental health. And she's saying, And I know she's not a practitioner on our behalf, but she's saying 99%, and she's had her weight loss since 2009. She's been at goal. That is amazing. Mental health is still being confused with mental illness. We're talking mental health well-being, and that's absolutely right. We're not talking illness. We're talking, and I think it's just that we have gotten used to looking at the negative side of things. Like I said, even in this group when I first got involved, I thought I was optimistic. I thought that I always looked through rose-colored glasses. I didn't realize until I started talking things through that I lived in fear. I lived in an inability to change. I lived in a place where I always thought that in order to succeed, I have to iron out every possible failure first. But I said this probably in the last round of this is kind of what I equate it to. I worked for a manager once who promised me a promotion for almost a year. When I realized that there was a group of about 6 of us that all came in at the same time, he didn't want to do the promotion because he was afraid of ruffling, and he told me this, he was afraid of ruffling the feathers of everybody else that was there. So what ended up happening is I ended up finding another job and I resigned. And he got really angry with me, and we're friends now, but for a couple of years he wouldn't talk to me. And he said, I have a list of who I want to get rid of, and you're not on the list. And I told him, that's your problem. You were too focused on what you wanted to get rid of, and you didn't focus on what you wanted. That's where I messed up with this weight loss journey. I was so focused on all the things that could go wrong on it that I wasn't focusing on what I needed to do to go right. So this challenge with the meditation, with gratitude journaling, with the tools that Doc V provides us about fat filters. I talked about that yesterday, his YouTube video on fat filters, cleaning out the junk that got us to be, in my case, hugely morbidly obese, or I'm creating new words now. I had to clear those thoughts out. It was his tools that allowed me to finally clear those thoughts out. And that is, like Kate Aaron says, mental health well-being. I didn't have the tools to shift my thoughts in a positive way for my mental health well-being. I thought I was doing myself a favor by trying to evaluate every possible thing that went wrong. And I spent so much time on looking at what I thought could go wrong. I didn't focus where I needed to be focusing on making things move forward. I wasted time spinning my wheels over a mud bog because I wasn't moving forward. I was stuck trying to pre-plan for everything that could go wrong. You address what's going wrong as you're moving down the journey, but you want to be going down the road. You don't want to be stuck in the mud. Move forward, and as things present, you've got a team of people here. If you join on with the Doc V Challenge, you've got Doc V Live every day. You've got the homework he gives us every night. You've got a team of people who have been involved with this journey. In cases like Kate Aaron, she has been at goal weight since 2009. You've got a team of people that if you start to feel yourself sliding or you don't feel like you're headed forward, you've got someone to reach out to. For too often, I tried to do it alone. And when I did it alone, it took too long. I can study anything, but it takes time. Time that was more valuable in other areas. By joining on to Doc V's group, by being a part of this challenge, by identifying what tools could help me when I started getting stuck in the negative thoughts and thinking about everything I was going to do to get ready for one day. I should have been saying day one. Just move forward. If something drops in front of you, you'll figure it out. We've got Doc V's daily lives, and inevitably that's what'll happen. You'll go, that's what I need. He just said it. That's what I need. Or somebody in the group will post it, and that's what I need. And I think that's really critical in this challenge and why it's so beneficial. You've got a network of people here, all who have faced this journey, some that have been at goal weight for years. I mean, Kate Aaron, we're talking 09, 19, I mean, we're 15 years just probably. It will help you to keep moving forward and not fall into the trap that I fell into, that was trying to identify and put together a plan that I thought was absolutely perfect and couldn't stumble. I wasted 2 years trying to create a plan because I was afraid of moving forward and failing, that I could have progressed, but I didn't know how to progress. This group helped me to figure out how to progress. Don't get stuck. Yeah, Mary Lynn, don't get stuck. And I truly believe that. I spent too much time on the what ifs, and I just needed to be going day 1, day 2, day 3. If a what if pops in, you got a million tools around you. You've got Doc V, you've got the homework he gives you, and your base will build. Now, I don't think we ever run out of opportunities to learn, but your base will build and you'll start to go, oh, you know, so-and-so talked about that. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to mention it, you know, to Doc V, or he'll cover it. But inevitably, you know what? It's almost like we don't even have to mention it to him because he already knows. He's been through so many bariatric patients. He already knows. And he'll call us out on it. On the lives, he'll call us out on it. He did a little bit today. And really, that's the greatest gift we can have. My obstacle was I tried to spend too much time planning for the what ifs, and I should have been moving forward. Just move forward. As an obstacle approaches, you'll find something, because there is always going to be somebody in this group that's experienced it before. If you're open to hear it, they'll share with you. Doc V is constantly sharing with us, and you can keep your journey moving forward instead of spending a year or 2 years or 3 years trying to pre-plan what you think may happen for the next 5 years. Because of those may happens, I don't think I've had maybe 3 happen. So how much time did I spend on one day? What am I going to do if one day this happens, when I could have been 265 days ahead? And that, I don't want you guys to go through that. I could kick myself for it because I should have seen it. I mean, I even recognized it when my boss did it to me. I didn't recognize when I did it to myself. So don't do that to yourselves. If you don't have a good support network, I'm going to tell you that even with all the support networks, and I've gone through this journey many times in my life, this is the best support group that I've ever connected with. Focus on the positive. Kate's right. Focus on the positive. Keep moving forward. This was a bad place because it's almost just like a whirlpool, a little black hole that I got stuck in. And the only person I have to blame for that is me, because I allowed the wrong thoughts here. I wasn't in the right frame of mind. And this group helped me to shift my mental health well-being into a direction so that I could realize that if a challenge presented, I'm in a challenge group, and I would find the answer, or I would ask somebody for the answer. But for too long, I was trying to pre-plan every possible opportunity of what could go wrong and how I would handle it. And that caused me to be the one-day person instead of the day 1 person. And if you aren't in the challenge and you're struggling, make sure this is day 1. Sit down and listen to that video tonight. Les Brown's funny. You'll like that video. Listen to Doc V's video. At least listen to them and maybe meditate before you go to bed. Make this day 1. Even if you don't get every single task done on those lists today, make it day 1. Make sure you're taking that step forward. I'm a perfectionist. Me too. Guilty as charged. I am. I'm a perfectionist and feel the need to prepare for all contingencies. Yep, not smart. Still just trying to take the next step. Keep going. And you know what? You're not alone. Reach out to me anytime. I am notorious for that. And I can see where it came from because I like a quality job done, but I can see in others how it makes them stumble, and I'm too close to it when it's me to see that it caused me to stumble. This group, Doc V, my group that I meet with Doc V with once a week, and every tribe member here has helped me to identify that I created the problems. I can hit goal weight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I can do it if I keep my mind headed to day 2, day 3, day 4. If I stop thinking about all the contingencies and keep moving forward. If I stumble, it doesn't matter because I can stand up and keep going again. It doesn't matter. We just got to keep pushing forward. What ifs? Anxiety of the future or rumination of the past. Stay in the here and now. Yep. Kate's right. I always call it a hard stop. What happened yesterday, it's done. It's done. And you don't want to spend a lot of energy in something that you can't change. It's done. Start today, moving forward, and you'll start to see some beautiful things bloom. I mean, and I said it yesterday, there are so many things opening, and the excitement of not being afraid. Because when you live in that life of being a perfectionist and contingencies, it, for me, created a fear of taking chances, a fear of failure. I didn't recognize that that word failure can be changed to learning. It's not a failure if you learned from it. We all have to learn in this life. I love to learn. Why did I not see that word failure could be shifted to mean learn? And there's nothing wrong with learning. A stumble to learn is worth every bruise that you may have gotten on the tumble down. Just step back up and keep moving forward. Let's see, I'm still watching. Oh, I just made my screen really small. My big screen got really small. Now it's really big. Boy, what am I doing? I'm having fun here tonight. My little mouse is carried away today. But I'm watching for comments, and success is just stringing together a series of successful days. Yes, and you guys, I want to tell you something. Doc V is always telling us to write and to record. And I got home, I had to go into the office today, and then they got me into meetings, and I didn't get back until like noontime or 1 o'clock. And the show, I think it was The Talk was on. And it caught my attention because they were talking about micro habits, and these two women that are doing this awesome thing with micro habits, and they're going on and on about this wonderful book and what wonderful insights they had. And I'm like, what is this? So I go in and I listen to what it is, and I applaud them because they wrote a book. I do not want to dismiss that they took initiative, wrote a book, got it published, and ended up on a television show. I don't want to dismiss that. My phone's telling me to go to bed. But they took some effort, and they wrote a book, and they identified something that we all already know, and they called it micro habits. They are now sitting on The Talk or one of those shows. I think it was The Talk. And all it was is kind of what Glenn just said. They're terming taking small, step-by-step changes, what did I say the word was now? Micro habits. So they've actually taken what we all call baby steps and labeled it micro habits, marketed it, and they're now on television shows. And this is the stuff that we've been talking about forever. I don't let them make whatever money they can, because they came up with the idea, they wrote the book, and they're now on television. But it is the stuff that we already know. It is the stuff that we can apply to keep moving forward. I applaud them. Let them make whatever they can from the book. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll buy it. But it is the stuff we've always known. You know what, Mary Lynn, that's true. Preparing for the contingencies is exhausting. And it doesn't feel good because you don't have any forward steps. If you take that step to day 1, day 2, day 3, even if you stumble, you had some forward motion and it feels good. And I think that's the greatest gift I've learned in this past year too. Now that I understand, when I keep my mind in a positive place and I am moving forward, and it's slow. I mean, yes, I've lost 37 pounds, but I do not want you to think that there has ever been a week with a huge loss, because there has not. I think Glenn called me the inch by inch girl, or Dr. V called me the inch by inch girl one day. But the thing is, a year later, I don't care, because you know what? I got something done, and I got something done by inch, step by step, day by day. Not getting stuck in trying to make the journey perfect. And I don't know why I got caught up in that, because you can't make anything perfect. Even as an accountant, something's going to fall through. So I've got to get out of this. I've got to get into this idea of there's always something better you can do. And as long as you're moving forward and making small steps, it'll work. Inches girl. Yeah, Glenn just posted it, the inches girl. But oh, thank you, Kate. Thank you for helping me with words too. Because see, Kate has more of an educated flair to her words. My words are more like the everyday Joe Schmo. But that's okay, because that's who I am. But if there is one thing you guys can do, if you have not joined this challenge and you are struggling, join this challenge. Give yourself a chance, but not just 30 days. Give yourself, I think like Kate said, go with the 90 days and give yourself a true, honest, baby, micro habit chance to change. It doesn't matter whether you want to call it micro habits or baby steps, day 1, day 2, day 3. Just taking that little step all of a sudden leads you a month from now and you go, wow, I'm down 10 pounds. Or, oh, thank you, Mary Lynn. And you know, to be honest, these words are words I need to hear too. So you guys help me a lot too. And there's an accountability, you know, with the group. I need to know that this is about me and I've got to do the best I can for me, but there is something fun in sharing it with you guys. And I learned stuff, you know, people give me little pointers and send me notes. Glenn sent me something about how I can flip my phone around so that when I'm showing books, they read the right way. And I never even thought of something like that. So together we're all learning tools and sharing with each other. And the one thing that we did learn from Doc V is there are people in the world who have succeeded at what we want. I know I can learn anything, but it takes a lot of time. Why not allow this group and people who've experienced it? Kate Ahrens, 2009, she hit goal weight and she's still there all these years later. Why not let somebody who's already done it share with you and narrow the time it takes to learn? Why not give yourself more free time to pursue the other things that will be introduced in this group that are pretty darn exciting too? All areas of your life can change and all areas of your life can take that movement forward. You're aware that there is a possibility of backsliding. Yup. You can fall flat on your back or to your knees. Easier to get back up from your knees. Yes. Yes. And you know what? It's not as painful. This is me talking, but if I fall in that mud bog because I've never taken a step forward and I've spent a year trying to plan every contingency that ever happened, I'm going to feel pretty horrible. If I've made let's just say half of them, if I've made forward progress and done something for my health in half the days of that 365 days, and I fall and I get back up, I'm still a whole lot further ahead. Don't get caught up in perfect. And as Doc V said and Ashley Kirby posted today in this group, it's not one day. Today, if you have not already started, needs to be day 1. Just take the step. Kate Ahrens is my spirit animal. I love that. I love spirit animals too. I actually took a class on that at one time just because I thought it was interesting. But yeah, and I love animals. I'm attached to nature. I've always, but that was my family. My family was always into recognizing what's around you. My grandmother was big on that. She would tell us to sit outside and then she'd question us, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Some things have not changed, but my attitude has changed and I'm happy with them. You know, yeah. And you know what, Jane, you're a lot of fun. If you guys don't know Jane, Jane's a lot of fun. And every once in a while, if I'm having a bad day, I go to her page because inevitably there's going to be a post that makes me laugh or smile or a beautiful picture. She's got a lot of beautiful pictures. But it's the attitude, I think, for me, the attitude change is what has allowed me to stay on the journey, because I no longer feel like a victim or a failure that can't get all the contingencies together and create the perfect plan and stick to it without a hair's shade of variation. When I finally recognize that the best gift I can give myself is that small daily step, move forward, all of a sudden you look back and you're like, I don't even see where I started it so far back. I don't even see it anymore. You know what? Yeah, Marilyn and my grandma, big on that. Really big. I mean, it would be like, what do you smell? Where's it coming from? What's the noise? What animal do you think it is? She amazed me in another thing too, because they lived on a farm. Not now. She wants to update my carrier settings. She lived on a farm, and on the farm they had to have a lot of cats and a lot of dogs because, of course, they had 140 acres. And she told me one day, she goes, I knew the name of every one of my 39 dogs. I knew the name of every single one of them. I could call them by name. And I'm like, wow, most of us don't know the name of the 39 coworkers we work with. And she knew every single one of her animals' names, and she had 39 dogs. But that connection with nature, she was always big about that. Hummingbirds were a big thing for her too. Yeah, she taught me a meditation technique. Yeah, because she would be angry. She would go, you kids and your phones. And I'm like, she passed away before this kind of technology existed. And I always tease the great grandkids, because I always tell them, if great grandma was around, boy, you guys would be in a corner somewhere, and she wouldn't let you out for a week because you guys don't know anything about what's around you. But it is meditative, and Doc V introduced me to that again too. And the gardening part, being in nature, seeing the butterflies. You know, I don't necessarily like the hornworms that are on the tomatoes, but you know, there's even, last year I was growing strawberries, and I'm going to tell you, I didn't get one. So what's my goal this year? I saw something where you can take like go to the dollar store and buy a laundry basket and tip it upside down and cut a hole in the top, and it's got all those holes around it. And if you get the right size of one, you can plant your strawberry plants in it. Because I'm not going to fight the squirrel for the strawberries this year. I'm just going to grow more. Yeah, I mean, but it was funny because one day I thought I was really going to get a strawberry from him, and I reached down and he ate half of it. And I'm like, doggone it. But, you know, it's a fun thing. Let me see. She taught you meditation techniques. Yeah. And, you know, those are the beautiful gifts. I've said it before too, but my other grandmother taught me to find 4-leaf clovers. And to this day, I can find them. And I do find them. I have in the other room a vision board with 4-leaf clovers. I've found 5-leaf clovers too, and those were elusive. And I never found them when she was alive. And she always told me those meant wealth. And maybe it's the introduction into Doc V, because in the past 2 years, I found 3. And maybe it's also not being able to be in nature more. But, oh, yep, go off to bed, because you're right. I went later tonight trying to accommodate for some of the other people, because I know when you get into California, if I went live at like 8, that's 5 their time. So I went a little late knowing it was Friday. Herbs, yeah, start with herbs. I had cilantro, stevia, garlic, onion chives, all kinds of stuff last year. But you're right, it's time to expand it up. Does anyone, you know what? I haven't heard many takeaways. I've heard of a couple of takeaways. Upping the water intake, absolutely. Any other comments from people? I see we got about 45 comments, but it's not a lot of questions. What are any takeaways? Any of you guys brand new today? Like this is your first? Oh, I've been going for over a half hour already. I didn't realize it. Anyone got any takeaways? Anything they're looking for? Anything they're needing? Because I may just kind of tie it up, because I think somewhere within the next hour, if not tomorrow morning, Doc V will post the homework from tomorrow. But I do want to reiterate, this challenge changed my life. This challenge allowed me to understand that my need to make the journey perfect was stopping me from making progress forward. The best gift you can give yourself, in Doc V and Ashley Kirby's words, are make this day one. Even if we're at the end of the day, sit down and play that recording while you're eating dinner, or a gratitude journal, or meditate. Do something so that you know that you attached the word day one to this, and keep moving forward tomorrow. It's just, as they said, micro habits, but baby steps. Whether you call it micro habits or whether you call it baby steps, each day do something, and you will find yourself in an amazing place. I promise you, you'll look back and be surprised. I know what I've done in the past year, but I couldn't have told you that would happen a year ago. And right now, I'm wondering what I'll pull off in the next year. And I know the opportunities are limitless because of the team of people that are here and because of the guidance Dr. V gives us. He gives us tools to really dig deep, recognize where we are blocking ourselves, because make no mistake, if you are not succeeding on the weight loss journey, the only thing that's stopping you is you. But there are tools, and he will give you the tools to help yourself if you will make this day one. We're here for you. I hope you join the challenge. I want to hear all your success stories. I love to see your transformations. I love to hear that something struck chord with you. I love to, because your success motivates me, and I want to be able to help and motivate you. So if there's anything I can do, let me know. Go have some dinner cake, because I'm going to hang it up right now because I'm past bedtime too. But you guys have a beautiful night. Dr. V will post the information either tonight or tomorrow morning for the task. Yep, Marilyn, one step at a time. Take one step today forward. Today is day one. Day one. Tomorrow's day two. One little step. You're welcome. And I'm looking forward to spending more time with you. Watch for the next email, and Dr. V will go live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It's the same time every single day. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, Catherine, I'm kind of on my way out. I've been going for 40 minutes. These poor guys need dinner and bed. But you guys, if you need anything, let me know. And remember, Dr. V will post the homework, and he will also be live at tomorrow's group. And if you will take this and let him help you, you will be able to change your life, because the power is yours. You just have to learn how to do it. He will tell you what your blocks are if you give him a chance. And all the rest of us are here progressing at different places to share with you. So thank you. Have a beautiful night, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.